Hi everyone, it's Angel, and I'm going to be going through all the supplies you'll need to get started with knitting. We're going to start with these plastic knitting needles. I don't like plastic knitting needles. They just don't work well against yarn, in my opinion. These are actually starting to warp a little bit. I was so worried that they were going to break while I was using them. I don't care for them, but it doesn't really matter if you prefer to use them, that's fine. Aluminum knitting needles. I personally like these. These are my favorites. They work a lot better on yarn than plastic or bamboo, and they just feel better in my hands, really. And I like the material they're made of. Bamboo knitting needles, I've only ever used them once, and I don't care for them. Mine actually broke, so you need to be careful with those. You also need to be careful with the smaller sizes of aluminum needles, as if you're not careful with them, they will bend and you'll have to replace them. Okay, now the different styles of knitting needles. There are straight needles, which are the most commonly seen. Circular knitting needles, you can buy sets that you can detach the cord and put different length of cord on the knitting needle so that you don't have a bunch of the same size knitting needle with different lengths of cord on them. I believe the smallest size is 16 inch and the largest is 29 inches. And that's from the tip of one needle to the tip of the other needle. That's not just the cord. Double pointed knitting needles. I don't personally know how to use these. I've never used them before, but they're used to make socks. And other things like that. Basically, whatever you can't knit in the round on circular knitting needles, if it's too small, you'll use double pointed knitting needles. Then these, I've never used these before. I don't know how to use them, but I have them. These are cable knit needles. They're used to make the cable knit pattern on scarves and sweaters and that kind of thing. These are two different types that I have. There's one more type that I know of, but I don't own it and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how they work. I will learn though, so I can show you. I'll also learn how to use double pointed knitting needles, so I can show you how to use those. But the cable knit needles aren't essential for your knitting bag. I just have them. Thought I'd show them off. A tape measure. There are two different styles that I use. One that's just the tape measure, like a tailor's style, and this retractable one. Some needlework scissors. These are used strictly for yarn and thread, and embroidery floss. This is a row counter. No, stitch counter. It goes on your knitting needle, down to the end, and when you need to count your stitch, you just turn the little knob to count your stitch, obviously. These are stitch holders. They come in different sizes, and say you're done with a piece that you've been working on. I'm going to use a sweater example again because that's a project I've been working on recently. And you're done with one half of the body, but you need to start working on the back of the body. You'll use this, put all your stitches on the stitch holder, and then you'll work on the second piece. Of course, if you have 2 knitting needles at the same size, you really won't need them. A crochet hook. This is used for picking up dropped stitches. This is a C hook. C's and D's usually are the best. This is a stitch marker. It's a little clear one. Just like the stitch counter, you just put it on your knitting needle like so. In the middle of, it's usually in the middle of a row where you start. Say you have a bunch of stitches on here, put this on, and you'd knit over it. Actually, what you'd do is you'd pass it over to the next needle. I'll show how to do that in a future video. And a yarn needle for finishing up your projects, for sewing up gloves or something like that. And also, if you want to add certain decorations, I'm sure you can sew those into place as well. They're also used for weaving in ends. So that's just about it, minus the one big thing you'll always need for every project: yarn. So that will be it, and thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!